Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adobe Live Holiday Edition. My name is Julia Vaca, and we're going to be designing some gift tags today, which I'm super excited about. Let me know who is there in the chat. Say hi. Let me know where y'all are tuning in from. So I am currently in Denver, Colorado, and this year, surprisingly, we had pretty warm temperatures, which I am quite surprised about. And yeah, global warming seems to be real, unfortunately. But yeah, still great to spend some time with families and friends during the holiday season. And we have some people tuning in. We have Jack, Rebecca, Misty, Stony, Wade, Lise is here, and Sam. Did I say Sam already? Cool. Welcome, everybody. So this is Adobe Live. My name is Julia Vaca, and let's do some fun design stuff in Adobe Illustrator. So if you all are going to be designing with me, make sure to open Illustrator, and let's take a look at our creative brief for today. All right, so happy holidays, everyone. And now that Uruva has designed the wrapping paper, amazing job, by the way, we do need some gift tags to know who the gifts are to and who they're from, right? Because there can be quite a few gifts coming together on a holiday event like Christmas, for example. Cool. Jessica is here also joining Ashraful. Awesome. Moses and Anna and Rebecca. So many lovely people. My name changed. Yes. Great job noticing it. Yes, my name changed from Masalska to Vaca. All right, friends. Awesome. So today we are going to be designing gift tags in Adobe Illustrator to go with our gifts for the holiday season. But these gift tags you can also use for other gifts throughout the year. So any festive occasion, and we're going to try to keep it quite abstract and reusable for different occasions that you might use them for. Awesome. Hi, Shauna. Oh, cool. Great. So many lovely people here. All right, friends, so let's get started. And by the way, this file that I'm going to be designing is going to be available after the stream in our lovely link that you can find under the video. So it's bit.ly/Adobe Live Holidays, where you can then access all the giveaways, all the amazing links to the files that we're providing you with, so you can create your own holiday season theme for all of the things you might imagine. Awesome. Rose is also joining us, and Nushin. Cool. All right, friends. So let's get started. And I am in Adobe Illustrator, as you can see, and my file is named gift tags. But if you're a beginner, let me quickly show you how to set up a file. So you go to File, New, and here we want to go into Print because our gift tag is supposed to be printed, right? And we want to be printing our gift tag on our printer. Yeah, we're going to print it in our computer. Sure. But we are going to be printing it with our house printer, or maybe you have some print shop close by where you can go and print those tags. So we do want to create a print file. Now, if we look at the preset details or file details, we can see we can put in our name. So let's say holiday gift tags or something like that. Just make up a good name for your file. And then we can also set the width and the height of the object, and also determine what's the best way to look at it. Do we want to use points? Do we want to use feet and inches? Do we want to just use inches? Or maybe you're somewhere in Europe where you want to use centimeters. So this is the way for you to set that. Then you will notice that the color mode is set to CMYK, which we are going to be working in CMYK because it's for us to print. And RGB color is digital color mode, which means that color mode is best to be seen on screens. But since these gift tags are something we're going to be printing, we want to be working in CMYK color which stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and key stands for black, right? So these 4 colors are the colors digital printers mix together to bring out the color tones that you're designing, right? So it's basically just another way to program. Cool. We have Desmond joining. Awesome. Yeah, Shauna is saying, I didn't even realize that Illustrator has a feet and inches option. Yeah, that's probably for some huge banners that are going into feet, and sometimes you don't want to be calculating the inches of the feet, which is quite confusing, I have to say. I am from Europe myself, so centimeters are way more intuitive for me, but I know that many of you are used to feet and inches already, so feel free to customize it however you feel comfortable, right? Mind blown. Awesome. Oh, Stony saying, oh, I could design some tags and send them to my sis to use on her Cricut. Yeah, that's also a great idea. Awesome. So let's get started. So we're setting up our file right now. We can also use some of these presets down here if you're trying to design maybe a postcard. There are some presets here. There's a lot of really, really cool stuff that you can use for free. As you can see, this is all free and available for you. A little thank you card, a lot of really cool presets here. Joyful and bright holiday, merry and bright card. Cool, love the designs, but we are going to be designing our custom stuff. So now that I have that all set up, and I will need only one artboard for now, and I want to preset the artboard to be a letter size. So let's take a look. And we can go into more options, more settings right here, and we can go into our profile is set to print. This is already perfect. And the size of our print. In the US, we would usually use the letter size. I know in Europe, the A4 size is more common. So whatever you want to be printing on, please select that format. And I am going to be using the letter format bleed. Now, what is actually bleed? What does that mean? And the bleed is there for us to create a little space around our artwork so that whenever we print and cut the piece, that our artwork goes up until the edge, right? So for example, when we are printing magazines, books, where an image covers the whole page, right? You want to make sure that the image does not have any white frames from imprecise cutting on the edges. And this is the reason why we need the bleed. The bleed extends the artwork a little bit further, so the printer, when they cut the art piece, they can really go up until the exact edge and really cut it precisely. All right, so that's what that's for. We are kind of bleeding over, extending our artwork a little bit to give a little bit of breathing room for the person who is going to cut the piece of art once it's printed. But we don't need that right now because our tags, they're going to be within the paper. So we don't really need to cut around the paper, right? And I'm going to click create document. And now you can see we already have our vertical letter size paper perfectly set up. Now I can still go in and edit my artboard to a horizontal one by clicking here into artboard, the artboard tool, and then you can go in and even adjust the preset of the size, or you can go and make it horizontal, which is something that I want to do. Now, first step, let's create some cool creative shapes for our gift tags. And gift tags don't always have to look, like a house upside down. They can have different shapes and forms. They can, for example, be round. So right now I'm using the circle, the ellipse tool, and I'm holding shift, clicking and dragging a circle, right? So your gift tags can be round. What other shapes can they be? They can be something a little bit more experimental, maybe like a moon. So now I'm using both of these shapes and I'm cutting one out of the other by using the Pathfinder tool. So why not making a gift tag that's a different shape? That's not the usual case, right? Now let's go a little bit more minimalistic. How about creating a rectangle and then maybe doing a round top to that? So I'm going to use an ellipse tool. holding shift, I'm going to create a circle. I'm gonna match the circle to the width of my top part, holding shift, expanding it a little bit so it fits perfectly to the edges. Let me zoom in here, precision work. All right, how's everybody doing in the chat? Stacy, oh, there was I thinking was a typo. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not a typo. My last name did change. Alex is saying Masalska. Oh my God, this is so funny. Great. You can call me Masalska, that's fine. All right. George is also joining. Happy Wednesday, Julia. Long time we have been missing you here on Adobe Live. Oh, awesome. I'm doing a series of daily creative challenges this December as well. So make sure to join me. And that's going to be in just about 1.5 weeks. So starting on the 13th, which is super exciting. All right. So what do I want to do with this now? I'm going to create like an arch shape. And right now it seems quite long. So I'm going to make this rectangle slightly shorter. And I'm going to select both of these objects and I'm going to go into my Pathfinder and click Unite. This shape has been so popular on social media lately, so I thought, why not make gift tags that have this really cool shape? Another thing that's really fun, so we can actually take the circle, hold Option, drag down a copy, and then let's make it zaggy. Let's make it ziggy and zaggy. So I'm going into Effect, Distort and Transform, and Zigzag. And cool way to kind of create something a little bit more different, right? So that your gift tags don't look like the boring rectangles that we usually have. All right, cool. So here you can adjust the size of the zigs and the zags, and you can also adjust the ridges per segment. So something like this will work for us. And another really cool thing, if you didn't know, so from the zig and the zag, we can make a wavy wave by clicking on smooth. And now we have this really cool shape that kind of reminds me of peanut butter cupcakes. Yeah, ooh, that looks good. Okay, so delicious. And my dog has started playing with her squirrel, which is a really loud toy. Hopefully she's gonna stop playing with it soon, but also I'm happy for her that she has her squirrel. Cool. All right, what's going on? By the way, feel free to ask questions if you have any in the chat, and we'll get them answered, hopefully. Cool, so now, these are fun shapes, Tony. Yeah, thank you. And now to give you a better idea of what this is going to be looking like as a tag, let's create the little cutout circle where you put the thread through, right? So I'm going to use the ellipse tool and I'm going to create a small circle holding shift. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select both and I'm going to center align them. So the circle is nice and aligned in the center. And by the way, you can use a hole puncher for this, right, to punch out this hole. So you don't have to go in with scissors and do any of this crazy work. But it's for us to imagine what the design will look like with this hole in it, right? Cool. So let's copy and paste this by holding Option, clicking and dragging. I'm going to drag it on all of our other design pieces. And here we also want to make sure that it's nice and centered. So again, I'm selecting both of these objects and I'm going in and aligning them to the center so they're nice and aligned. And here, one thing that's important when you're having a paper tag like that, we don't want to go too close to the edge, because when you make the hole, you know, the tag can easily break off. So we want to leave enough space. We're also designing a product, right? A product that's functional. And depending on the thickness of your paper or cardboard that you're going to be printing this on, this hole should be further away the thinner the paper, right? So when you know you have very robust, thick cardboard, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to rip anyways. You can feel free to place this hole closer to the edge. But if you know your paper is very thin and it's very fragile, leave it a little bit of space to hold, you know, to hold the tag onto the gift, because we don't want to lose the gifts, the gift tags, right? Okay, again, holding Option, copy pasting it into the next one. And here, I kind of feel like it's better to arrange the hole next to one of these zags rather than arranging it here in the center. So I'm just going to turn my zigzag circle a little bit, just so that it points to the top and that I have a good imagination of how this is going to look like. Something like that. It's also kind of reminding me of the Simpsons hairstyles. Pretty fun. Cool. All right. So, and then let's think about the actual size of things, right? So how large is this tag actually? And because we are going to be printing on letter size, that means this is already a predefined size. And right now I've been pretty much eyeballing things. But what if you really want to get precise and really want to measure out what's the size of your gift tag? Now, this is actually very, very simple. So once we click on the circle, we'll be able to see the measurements here. And right now they're shown in pixels, but I can also set them to be shown in inches or in centimeters by going, I believe I will have to find this real quick, but I think preferences, general, and I think when we click on units, yes. So general, we are going to be doing inches, and stroke and type. Okay, that's fine if that's points, but in general, I'm going to be doing inches. And now we can see, our gift tag is 3.13 by 3.13 inches. So now we can go ahead and take something and measure it out and see what is actually 3 by 3 inches and see, this is how big my tag will be like. Is this a good size? Should it go a little bit smaller or should it go a little bit bigger? So make sure to design a good product, not just the pretty print design, but also functionality and that it's not too large, not too small, because in the end, it has to be functional too. It is a product that you're designing. Okay, so let's see what's going on in the chat. All right, everybody's joining, having fun. Gabriela is saying, I like the wavy shape. Yeah, that's so fun, right? So I just had an idea. What was the idea again? So I had an idea of a fun shape. Oh yeah, I know. So how about like a wavy, blobby kind of line that's, yeah. Okay, so let's do it. Let me show you before I will start explaining. All right, a line right here. And now I'm going to make really bold, large waves on this line. And I'm going again to Effect, Distort and Transform, Zigzag. And now I'm going to make the zigzags really large, like really, really large. And I'm going to remove the amount of ridges. So I'm just going to keep like 3 or even 2 of those. I want to make it really big and blobby and smooth. I want to make a really smooth kind of line. And I'm going to show you what I have, what's the purpose of this. Maybe just a little bit smaller, the size, and I'm clicking OK. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy paste it again, holding Option. I'm dragging another one down. And I want to make a gift tag that looks like a wavy kind of something, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to expand these because right now you can see that Illustrator is kind of doing the job of displaying me the line, although it's actually just a straight line in terms of vector, right? So what I have to do now is to actually have the line flow is I'm selecting both the objects and I'm going into Object, Expand Appearance. There we go. Now we have lines that we can actually access with a direct selection tool, right? We can go in and customize. Oh, I want this a little bit more blobby and I want this side a little bit more blobby. You decide how your shape is going to be looking like. And now I can also go in and say, hey, you know what? It's a little long. I want to make it a little bit shorter. But there's one thing that we're missing now, right? So we have these 2 lines, but what about the connections here? And for that, we're going to be using the pen tool. And I'm selecting the pen tool, clicking on one of the points. And now that I have the smart guides on, it's kind of snapping to the point. But I think even if you don't have the smart guides on, it will still snap to the point to help you really find the right thing to stick to. Merry Christmas, Heidi. Thank you so much. Thank you for liking my design work. Okay. All right, the wavy line effect is one of my favorite effects in Illustrator. Yes, who doesn't like blobs? Who doesn't like wavy shapes? Yes, love it. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm on the pen tool still, and I'm clicking. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to click in at the top, and I'm going to connect it to the bottom. Yay! Our shape is coming along, and the same thing we're going to do here. Bam! And Illustrator is so smart that it recognizes the different shapes, and once it sees that they close up, you can see that it's giving you this like little circle symbol that shows you, aha, the shape is complete now. If you click on this point, that means it's a full shape. And once something is a full shape, you can turn around the stroke and the fill, and you can see the shape will be filled because it's complete. The vector is closed, right? So that, but you know, color-wise, I'm not quite convinced about this yet. Let's bring some fun into this. And for now, what I'm going to do is, oh, actually, you know what we're missing here? And I'm going to turn this guy around because I want to imagine what this is going to be looking like once I put text on it. And again, I will need a hole in this so that it can stick to one of my gifts. And I'm going to actually make the hole white so it sticks out of my design right now. I'm going to place the shape to the back. And what do you think? Where should I place this hole? Should I place it like that? So also think about how the gift tag will hang from the gift, right? Will it be hanging like this? Or if I put my my hole a little bit to the side, it naturally will be hanging like that. So what do you want to achieve? Do you want it to hang straight, or do you want it to hang a little bit sideways? And in the same way, you can do that here as well. So let's say we wanted to create a completely different version of this that's going to be hanging completely differently. And we could put the hole on this side and imagine how this will hang. It will hang like that. So it's a completely different design, just depending on the way kind of the angle is and the way the weight of the paper will distribute. Okay, so this is getting too much in the detail. I know. But I am by nature, not by nature, probably by nature too, a product designer. So I always think about, you know, how will something function in the real world? And that's important sometimes, you know, the functionality of your design and the impact of your design. Because if your design is great, if it's, you know, if it has a good usability, then people will like it and it's successful, right? And if it's not, if you don't think through the usability of it, people might get frustrated with it and might not, you know, not enjoy it. And we're here as designers to make people happy, right? So, hi Mayur, happy holidays. What's the size of the hole? And that's another really great question. And for that, what you can do is you can take a hole puncher and you can measure out the hole and then you can adjust it. So let's say we have this hole and right now it's 0.23 inches. I would measure it out, to be honest. But as of now, I'm making the hole slightly smaller than it's supposed to be, probably. Because when I punch it out, I don't want to have a white border around it. So I would not make it the perfect size. I would just give it a little position where the hole will be punched, right? So make the hole slightly smaller than the hole puncher so that you have a little bit of room for imperfection. Cool, now that we have some shapes, hey, let's get into the fun stuff. How about we find some cool fonts and some cool colors for our tags? Hey, you know what? One last thing. I just wanted to make this because I think this will be so fun. So just make a circle, and then I'm going to use the direct selection tool. Pick one of the points at the bottom, delete it. So we have like a rainbow. And then we're going to use the pen tool to close it up. So connect from one side to the other, and we are going to have this kind of shape. Have you ever seen a gift tag that's this cool? Hello, look at that. It's so different. Every single one of your family members or whoever you want to give a gift will be impressed by this. So experiment. Why not experiment with some cool shapes for the gift tags, right? So how about something like that? Cool. Gabriella is saying, love your attention to details, Julia. It makes things functional right at the gate. Yeah, thank you. And I think that's all what design is. If you think about the big designers, they're all really trying to understand the user of the product and really trying to give them the best moment of their life just using your product that you've designed for them. And paying attention to details kind of returns a lot of appreciation for the product, because when you're designing, you're thinking of that person, right? So when you're using a well-designed product, you're like, wow, they thought of me, how thoughtful, so it's kind of like a compliment to the person who purchased your product, right? Saying, I thought of you and I wanted to make something special for you. It's kind of like a gift. Anyway, we could dive deep into that and get very philosophical. But any kind of design is designing a product, designing something that somebody else will experience, right? Cool. Hi, Paul. I think that you explained that well and understandably. Thank you so much. I'm glad you understand. And feel free to ask questions, y'all, if you have any that we can cover here. All right. So, my friends, now that we are here, let's actually create complete shapes out of this. So I have a hole now and I have the shape, but once I change, once I actually, maybe this will actually work, but to kind of complete this whole thing, what I would do is I would actually punch out the hole from the shape. And to do that, you have to place the hole at the top, select both of the things, and then we use the Pathfinder to minus front. So since our circle is in the front, we're going to cut it through the shape that's underneath it. Bam. And now we can see, we can look through the hole. You see that? So we're going to do the same thing for all of these shapes. So we have them all really, really ready for our designs, and we can mask our designs with these shapes, right? And in this case, I still have to expand this shape because the wave still kind of is displayed by Illustrator, but it's not existent in reality as a vector. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to expand appearance, and now it is actually existent. And now I'm going to place the hole to the front, Command Shift and square bracket closed, selecting both the shapes. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to minus front. Okay. Wait, did it work? Did it work? No, it didn't. Okay, I think I might have to do this first and then minus front. Please select two intersecting. Okay, let's see. All right, so we're placing this to the back. And we're going to make that. Oh. Interesting. All right, let's try it again. Okay, I guess this one doesn't want to be punched. Who does actually? This one works. Perfect. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with a ziggy line that it's a little bit buggy, but there we go. All the others work. And again, I'm always selecting both objects, and the circle has to lay on top. And it is, since we have edited afterwards. And so yeah, now let's make all of these dark so we can see all the shapes. And this kind of looks like Pac-Man also. Look at the eye and the mouth, kind of funny. And of course, feel free to create any kind of shape that you want to do. I mean, if your gift has a specific character to it or has something special about it, feel free to do that. Feel free to create a shape that works with your gift. And these are pretty, let's say, pretty general shapes. They're pretty abstract, right? So we're not showing any Christmas trees, nothing that has to do with Christmas or any kind of specific holiday, because we want to keep these open for any occasion, right? For any festive occasion. Cool. So we have that. And now we have filled out our paper, our little sheet of paper. And that's something I want to do. You know, honestly, I don't want to be wasting paper and just putting, let's say, 2 tags on a paper, because I will waste all of this. Why not create multiple shapes and then cut them out and see how I can use them? Cool. And just because we don't want to waste no more paper, let's make something in here as well. So how about let's make something blobby again. I'm just a big fan of blobs. How about we take a circle and then we're just gonna do like something like this? Yeah, why not? Could be interesting. Now what I'm going to do is, you can see that they're not perfectly arranged, right? You can see that these intersect each other slightly less than these two. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to select all of these and I'm going to go into Align and click on More Options, and I'm going to distribute the spacing right here. Right here, sorry. Right there, so distribute the spacing, bam. Now you can see perfectly even distributed circles. And now there's still 3 shapes. So how do I make one big shape out of those? So that whenever I want to recolor these shapes, it acts like one big shape. So I'm going to go into the Pathfinder and click to unite. And now what I can also do is, so I'm in the direct selection tool and I can smoothen out these little curves here a little bit. And I'm going to go in. Interesting. Okay. So I'm going to go in and select all of these little points, the little circles, holding Shift, and I'm going to pull them out a little bit so it looks a little bit more smooth. So I can kind of cut around the curve, right? It kind of looks like a peanut. Fun, I like it. All right, so let's grab one of these circles and, oh, not the whole thing, just that one little thing, Command C and Command V, and I'm going to place it over here on our little peanut. Cool. All right, friends. So now we have all of these tags, and I'm going to cut this one in actually, again, using the Pathfinder and minus front. There we go. Cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy the artboard with holding Option, and I'm also in the artboard tool. So I'm holding Option, clicking and dragging the artboard to the side to make a copy. Because now what I want to do is I want to create some color variations. I want to experiment, you know, what colors actually work in this context. And obviously we're not going to leave all of this black. Black is kind of a sad, but also a very elegant color. So if your gift wrapping is all white, you can make something really cool and fancy looking by using black and white tags. So maybe we can do an example of that. But let's experiment with some color. And how do you actually find some colors, right? Where can you get some inspiration? And so there is something that you can access that's called coolers, or there's also Pantone Connect that will give you Pantone colors, but that you might have to pay for. I'm gonna just use coolers because I think it's a really cool plugin, and we can go on to explore, and maybe we can go in and look for holiday. So how about we look for a holiday, and we already have some really cool suggestions. I really like this color palette with the red and the grayish blues. I think that could work really, really cool for us. So let's just select some of these colors and place them in here. And I'm just selecting these shapes and making them different colors. And again, see, that's the reason why I wanted to punch this out, because this circle is going to keep bugging me. All right, so I'm going to make the circle white, and I'm going to ungroup my object that I had grouped before. So something like that. Okay, so, and another one, maybe like a green. Yeah, cool. I kind of like this. All right, maybe like, I like these like off tones, you know, this green that's not really green. And what about this guy? Maybe making it nice orange. And you can see the difference, right? You can see the difference between this orange and this orange. And the reason why there is such a difference is because this is a digital color. This is an RGB color, in this case, a hex color, Whenever you have the 6-digit color code, it's a hex color. And this one, that's why none of the designers like working in CMYK mode, because all the colors just tone down a lot. And the reason why we're working in CMYK mode is because we can preview the color that will come out the printer. And the color that comes out of the printer is never as bright as the color that we see on the screen, right? So that's the problem of CMYK. It's always less saturated. And that's the reason we always want to work in CMYK when designing for print, because we might get unexpected results if we work in RGB and then send it to the printer, and what comes out will be way less saturated. So we want to avoid that, avoid any kind of disappointments and surprises, especially when working with clients. All right, friends. Let's see. Misty's asking, is blobby a technical term? Yes, it is. Zigzaggy and blobby? Yes, absolutely. Cool. Awesome. Yay. All right. Feel free to ask questions. Again, we're here to go over this together. And one more thing, if you're wondering how to get this Coolers plugin, it's very simple. Go into Window, find extensions on Exchange, and they're opening here in my browser window that I'm going to pull in right now. So, exchange.adobe.com. I love this site and everything that comes with it. So here, you basically have plugins for all your favorite apps. Here, for example, icons, we will get probably free iconography that we can use in Illustrator or Photoshop. Pantone Connect, amazing plugin. QR Code Maker Pro, you can download it for Illustrator, Photoshop, or InDesign. And this is where also you can find Adobe Color. Oh, let's just look for color. Okay, so there is, I think Adobe Color is somewhere else, not as a plugin, but here's also Coolers, which is what I was just using within Illustrator. And all you have to do is download it, and it's already automatically placed into your Illustrator workspace. And you can access all of these plugins by going to Window, Extensions, and this is all you can get right here, right? So this is the place where you find all the extensions that you could download on Adobe Exchange. All right, my friends. So I do want to make a version that's black and white, and I do want to make a version that's colorful. So how about we start off with some shapes and then make some patterns and then get these colors going and get these shapes going. So for the next step, I'm going to copy one of the artboards. And by the way, one of the things that I've learned really late is that you can either copy the artboard with the artwork or without the artwork. So whenever you select an artboard and you want to copy it, you can go over here into the properties and click or unclick move artwork with artboard. So I'm going to unclick this because I do only want to make a copy of the artboard because I like the size, you know, the letter size is a great size for me. So I just want to make a copy of the artboard. And again, I'm going back into the selection tool and we continue our work. So my next step is we have some kind of colors going. I'm kind of excited about it, but I also need some shapes. I need to place some patterns and some cool things into my designs. So what do? And I'm thinking, you know, they're all different and they might use a different treatment. But what I wanted to experiment, and I was talking about it with the Adobe Live team, is that I wanted to use the 3D, the new 3D features in Illustrator. And why not create something cool in 3D and place it on your gift tag? So let's do it. And I'm going to start with an ellipse, or rectangle, both. Okay, rectangle and ellipse. Oh my God, life is hard. And maybe even a polygon. How about a star? What do you all think about stars? Stars are really cool. And I think when I think of stars, I always think of like glamour, holidays. Also, yeah, when I think of stars, I also think about the US, and it's also a star is also a part of a lot of different flags, right? So how about we round out the star just a little bit, and with a direct selection tool, I'm just going to make it a little bit more friendly, kind of more into the Patrick from SpongeBob direction, rather than star from national flags direction, right? So we have our friendly star. Yay, so much better. Okay, so what about this guy? We can also round the edges here a little bit if we wanted to. We can also keep them as they are. All right, so my idea is we're going to be expanding these objects and creating a pattern, because that sounds like fun. Cool, let's see. Samia is saying, hello, Julia, wish you're doing well, look amazing. I want to ask about two elements, for example. In one side, another, how to paint them with two different colors, for example, mix from two elements, inside another. You have to clarify that, Semia. So you want to make two elements same color, or do you want to make like an outline? So let me make a copy of this. So right now, if we look at this rectangle, it is filled with color. But here, if I am going to flip the color, I'm flipping stroke and fill, and now it's outlined. And you can see when you zoom in into this, you can see that there's a line in the middle, which is the actual vector, and then there's an outline. I don't know if that answers your question, but please clarify. I want to understand. Okay, Paul. Hello, Julia. I wish you... oh, wait. It's the same message. Interesting. Cool. Coolers is a spelling mistake. No, it's actually a site. It's actually a pretty cool site online that you can go to. And it's actually... I can show you. It's amazing. Coolers.co. And this site is just so much fun. Okay. Start the generator. And it's basically a color palette generator. Let's go. And all you do is press the space button. Ooh, I love this orange. Let me lock this. Space button, space button, space button. Ooh, I like this Brunswick green. Lock this. Space button, space button, space button, space button. Ooh, I like this satin sheer gold. And that's how you kind of put together a color palette. Orchid Crayola, nice. Ooh, now check out this color palette. And what I usually do is screenshot. And where did it go? Anyway, so I take screenshots and I just place it into Illustrator. And then I can just grab from those colors, which is, yeah, it's fun. I like playing with colors. And so, yeah, it's a great generator for color palettes. And I want to try find that screenshot because those colors came out amazing. Oh, not on CMYK. Oh, they look so much better in RGB. Please give me my RGB back. Oh, wait. How about we go into File, Document Color Mode, RGB. Oh, yeah, not sure if they still... I think all of this needs to be adjusted back to RGB. Let's see. What if I go into the RGB mode, remove this, and then place it again? Yeah, a little bit better. Yeah, I think these colors are actually pretty nice. So how about we use these instead? So this green, we're going to replace by this green. Oh, is it a green? We can make it a little bit more green by going here and making just a little bit more bright. Yeah, I like that. And this similar color, right? But we are going to make that just looking a little bit more like the gold. And here we can also adjust. I feel like still this is looking a little bit greenish. So I want to go and move that slightly into the yellow direction. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right. And then this red is going to become this orange. And I'm using the eyedropper tool, by the way, with the shortcut I on your keyboard. Yeah, Misty, good question. What type of holiday font would you use for that? We're gonna get into that in a second. All right, so let's leave that first for now. What I wanna do now is I'm going to go into 3D, and I'm going into Window, 3D and Materials. And by the way, make sure to use the latest version of Illustrator to use this, because that's where it kind of is, because the previous version does not have as great of 3D tools. I mean, the 3D tools were great, don't get me wrong, but these are just amazing, mind-blowing. Okay, so I'm going to click extrude, and now I'm going to adjust the depth of this. So maybe something like that. And how about I turn it a little bit? And you know what? You can also see the rendering of this once you click on render with ray tracing. And that makes it so much more realistic, that I actually absolutely love. All right, and then we can still go in and adjust the size of our rectangle, square. I'm not sure if it's still a square. I think it's still a square. Yeah. So we can do something like that. And then let's grab one of these really cool colors here. Or maybe we can just have it white. White is also a nice color. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like that. I like this. And now we can still go in and adjust some of the settings. We can adjust the depth. How far deep do we want to have it? The cap. So the cap means, is it going to be hollow inside, or is it going to be filled, right? And then we can do a bevel, which will give it a nice little bevel kind of effect. We can also turn the object. Super easy. Lighting. Now, lighting is where it gets interesting, because it can make a big difference in a way the object is lit. Okay. All right. So top left, light, diffuse light, and standard. Pretty sure standard was the best so far. So let's do that. Let's keep that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that it's nice and straight. Yeah, there we go. And by the way, you can also go in here and adjust the position of the object using this little, what's it called again? Something with imbo in the end. Anyway, Zimbo? No. Gimbal? No. Yeah, we're gonna figure it out at some point. Okay, so now, fun thing, what we can do with this is we can make a pattern out of this 3D object. How cool is that? So we're going to object, pattern, make. Ooh, okay. Look at that. How cool is this pattern? How cool is this? Break by row. Ooh, yes, this is great. All right, so now we can still double click into that. Oh, okay, interesting. Aha, and now we can adjust the direction of this. And we can play around and see, you know, how is it coming out? How is the pattern coming out? Is it good like that? Or do we want to change something? Maybe we want to make it a little bit smaller so it doesn't quite fit the whole shape. Okay, so I'm going to click done. And now, you know what we can do with that is we can go into one of these shapes. And since we have saved that to our swatches already, we can go in and make something like that. How cool. All right, let's experiment a little bit more. So how about we use this shape and make a pattern out of that? Let's actually copy this color. And we're going to be using that on top of the black. So let's pull in one of these guys. And we are going to make a pattern to go onto this shape. So I'm going to make that way smaller. Oh, did you know, by the way, look at that. You can go in and plus and minus the amount of corners that you have. So you can make a completely cool custom shape out of this. Just a quick tip. All right, and that's also how you can make a triangle, I'm assuming. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there we go. Triangle. Triangle is also a great shape. Okay, so now that we have that kind of set, and I actually think this looks like gold. I like that color. What we can also do is to make it look a little bit more kind of 3D. What we can do is we can create a line, and then we can copy paste it. Right now you don't see the lines because they are not having any color, but how about we make them white for now? And I'm going into my properties, making them really, really thin. Okay, so I'm going to make a line. I want to basically resemble kind of like a diamond shape that I want to cut into this hexagon. All right, there we go. And I'm going to make another copy. Bam. Place it like that. All right, so now the fun part is we're going to select all of that, and we're going into the Pathfinder and more options and divide. My favorite tool, divide. And then we can take two of these sides on one side, double click into the color, make it slightly darker. Double click in these two sides, double click into the color, make them slightly lighter. And look how cool of a dimensionality that gives us. Isn't that fun? And that already kind of looks like a jewel. All right, cool. So now we're gonna take this guy here and we're going to make a pattern out of that. Pattern make. Ooh, that looks like a wallpaper. Okay, we're gonna have to work around that just a little bit because, oh, happy accidents. Look at that. Oh, interesting. Okay, but what I want to do is I want to select all of these objects holding shift, and I'm going to make them slightly smaller. And maybe I want to use a different arrangement. So right now they're set to grid, and I'm going to do brick by row, and I'm going to click done. And now I'm going to apply this pattern to my gift tag. So how about I create a copy of that, apply the pattern, and then I have a black background. Right? So cool. Yeah, look at that. So we have, that's pretty interesting. It will definitely stick out. Your friends or family members will be like, where did you get this gift tag from? That's awesome. Cool. All right, so how about we go in and adjust that color to one of the colors that we have? Why not? Why not experiment a little bit? Let's actually, you know what I also wanted to try? Just keeping it simple. And rather than making that hexagon different colors, how about we just keep it like this? And how about we make our own custom pattern, which is also possible. Okay, so I'm going to create a copy and I'm going to arrange it like very randomly, as random as possible. I know it's not very easy to create a random looking pattern, but we are going to do our best to do so. Now, the reason why I made a copy is because I want to select all of these and mask them with the shape and still have the background, the black background going. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one that's now in the background, click Command Shift and square bracket closed, select all of these items and go into my properties panel, make clipping mask, or you can also right click and make clipping mask. All right, so this is tag number one, very fashionable, elegant gift tag. All right, now let's make one with stars. So I'm going to grab a circle. I'm going to make these stars slightly smaller. And how about we make our own little arrangement here? Copying and pasting. You can also click Command and D to repeat the action. All right, this is cute. I like that. Okay, so let's use the eyedropper to make these maybe one color, and then the circle, again with the eyedropper, a different color, so they kind of stick out from each other. Okay. All right, friends. So we are gonna have to wrap up, and I want you all to experiment with this and to add some text to it. So this file will be available for us after the stream, but definitely would like to see what you all come up with. And here again, I quickly want to make that little adjustment. And there we go, make clipping mask. So we have our gift tags kind of almost ready, but I want you to all to experiment and to take this document that we're going to be sharing after the stream. So make sure to click the link and access the file. I would love to chill more with you all and make some more tags, but we're running out of time. So thank you all so much for joining. This was so much fun, and I'm hoping you all have wonderful holidays, and I'll see you for the Daily Creative Challenges soon. Stay tuned for the streams after this and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.